Hello and welcome. I'm Andrew Bray and I'm here today to speak to Matthew Proom, cyclist, adventurer, punk rocker, who recently undertook the ride from London to Paris for charity. This is the story of the Spartan road warrior. So Matthew, why did you decide to undertake this challenge?
Well, I decided to do the ride earlier in the year. I'd seen the ride advertised a few years ago in a leaflet. Thought I wanted to give myself a bit of a challenge, wanted to do a bit of good.
So, explain to me about the charity that you did it for.
So the charity is a charity called Mind. They provide services to people who are experiencing mental health problems. They do a wide range of things really. They provide crisis lines, so helplines for people. They provide groups for people experiencing mental health problems, so therapy groups. They also kind of run a lot of campaigns around trying to reduce the stigma of mental health. So, in terms of fundraising, I raised over £2,000, which was a fantastic response. The total they ask you to raise is a minimum of £1,000, and I was expecting to put in a couple of £100 myself, you know, to do the ride. I thought it'd be a good holiday. I'm really happy to do that, but yeah, it totally blew the target out of the water, and yeah, it totally blew me away.
So Matthew, can you explain some of your training regime for this ride?
It was pretty full on actually. It started sort of small rides, around sort of 10-12 miles, which was tough at the time, and the thought of doing 75 miles a day was hard. Built it up, and so I think the longest ride I did was about 64 miles, usually on a weekend, over to Chepstow and round and all round up that way over the Severn Bridge. That was good. It also involved cutting out the beer and the cider, which was the hard part, to be honest with you.
So Emily, what did you think when Matthew told you he was going to try this challenge?
He talked about it, mentioned it a little while ago before he signed up, and I don't know if I thought he actually was going to do it, to be fair, and I kept saying, yeah love, you should do that, you should do that, and then when he finally booked it, and I realised it was on my parents' wedding anniversary, I thought, oh, I'm not going to be able to have the party, but actually, and then I thought, maybe I can paint the house while he's gone, because he wants white, I want pink. I think I could settle on a bit of like blue or green without him bothering, and he's not going to paint over it behind me, so I thought it'd be nice to get a shot of him for the weekend. It'd be quite good fun.
Well, this is the trusty steed, as you see. We got on very well. This thing caused me a few problems in the latter stages of the ride.
No, I can imagine. He does look rather sharp.
Yeah, a bit tough. So yeah, this is the trusty steed. I go with it a lot better than my the bike that I started my training on, because that bike, the frame snapped all up here. I'm sure we'll be able to get you a photo of that for the documentary. I had some very old-fashioned looking mud guards fitted, because the English weather was not particularly good before leaving for the ride. Turns out I didn't need them at all. We had 30-degree heat for the whole ride, so they were made a bit redundant really, but you know, better to be safe than sorry and all that.
So Matthew, can you explain to me the journey, day one, what happened?
So yeah, day one we set off from Greenwich Village down it, and we went up the hill into Greenwich Park. From there we had our photos taken there, and we cycled out of London in rush hour. Blimey, that was a bloody experience. Cycled down, stopped in Rochester for a little break, had a little sandwich, then cycled on a little bit further and stopped in Canterbury, which was two lovely Kent towns, really lovely, and then we cycled on down through the South and North Downs down to Dover, and why was we pleased to get there 75 miles later. So day two we woke up, Calais, early start. Breakfast was at 7 and we tried to start riding at 8:15. Started lovely, a couple of miles, nice quick fast roads, and then my god, the hills started. had a nice 20-mile-an-hour headwind as well, so that was really tough getting along up the hills. But going along the French coast, I think they call it the Opal Coast or the Côte d'Opale or something like that. Yeah, which is really interesting, really beautiful, and some interesting military history along that route as well. So yeah, day 2, and we rode to a place called Roux.
I see. And how many miles in total was that, Matthew?
So day 2 was only a 60-mile stretch, only. Right then, bit naughty. I think this was a very quiet road to cycling a monster of a hill. French countryside, as you can see, sun shining. I'll show you to my right. Beautiful. I'll show you to my left. Beautiful. See you later. So throughout the riding on day 3 from Roux to Beauvais, we cycled through the Somme Valley, which is really beautiful, some really beautiful French countryside. The town of Roux had some real aviation history in the little town there. The view of the Somme Valley when we left Roux was fantastic. It was misty. We got up into the sunlight where some of the mist had cleared, but on the horizon we just saw this really thick layer of mist through the valley, and it looked really, really special. That was probably a highlight of day 3, to be honest with you. It was really good. Yeah, and then we carried on. Really tough day's riding, but we got there in the end. And day 3 was the day I played the A to Z of vegetables with Aggie Mackenzie from How Clean Is Your House. Never thought I'd hear myself say that. Pretty much 80 miles of riding that day, pretty full on.
So day 4, the final day.
So day 4, yeah, the big day, the ride into Paris. It was shorter day in miles. We only did about 60 miles again, but it was a long day because of the sort of slowness we had to ride it around Paris. It was a good day. Started the day and cycled into the Oise Valley, I think it's called. Stopped for lunch in Pontoise or something like that. I think it means bridge over the Oise River or something like that. Sounds good. From there we cycled along the River Seine, which was pretty beautiful. It was a beautiful hot day. Coming out over the Seine and into Paris, our road was stopped by a road closure. Turns out there's an Olympic or sort of a triathlon with a couple of Olympians in it. The Bellamy or Bewley brothers, Belgians, won gold and silver in the Olympics. So they were racing in this triathlon on our path. We wanted to get to Paris, for goodness sake. So we managed to wangle our way through and cycle a bit of this course and on our way into Paris, at which point the triathletes passed us on their bikes, much to our disgust really, and we absolutely let them know that they hadn't ridden all the way from London to Paris. You know, they had it easy compared to us. Yeah, riding to Paris was pretty good. Didn't see any of the sights until we started to ride up. Turned the corner and started to ride up a ramp up to the Arc de Triomphe, which was pretty special. Just seeing that up in front. And then I don't know if anyone's ever been to the Arc de Triomphe. It's just this mad road with loads of cars in it. So we kind of cycled our way onto that and just kept pedalling for our lives, really, hoping that no crazy French person or sort of nutty tourist knocked us off.
Allez, allez, allez!
And yeah, cycled around Paris, stopped for some brilliant photos overlooking the Eiffel Tower, much to the delight of many Japanese and Javanese tourists who insisted on having their photos taken with us. And I like to think I convinced a few of them I was Bradley Wiggins' brother, but we'll see about that. Yeah, and then cycled to our hotel along the Champs-Élysées when we completed our 60 odd miles for that day. Stopped, had a shower, and drank beer and sambuca until about 5 o'clock the next morning. Very nice.
Now, Emily, I understand that you had a little surprise for Matthew of your own upon his arrival home.
Yes, I think when it finally dawned on me that he was actually going to be doing it, and he'd given up drinking and he'd spent a lot of the time at the weekends training, it then became apparent that actually what he was doing was really amazing and that people were really supporting him, and lots of people gave a lot of money and just really wished him the best. But I felt that all of those things that we were doing weren't very collective, and it would be really nice for him to have a good memory attached to his support. Typically when Matt's gone away, I have decorated something. This room was decorated in Matt's absence, the lean-to was decorated in Matt's absence. So I think he thought that there would be a surprise, and he was waiting for a changing rooms moment, perhaps the back of the house. But instead I decided that on his return, because we weren't able to go to Paris and wait for him under the Eiffel Tower, we would do something at Bristol Temple Meads. So I Facebooked everyone and emailed people in work. I spent a good proportion of the weekend making banners for him to welcome him back, whilst watching The Notebook twice, because that's the kind of thing you can do when your husband's away. And yeah, so organised people, phoned people, spoke to people, and then we went to the train station. About 2 hours before Matt was due back, he phoned and said he was on an earlier train. And without trying to ruin the surprise, there's an issue there when I know that people are going to be there half an hour later than he's arriving. So I told him he wasn't allowed out of the train station. So he knew something was happening. He sent me a text saying about my scheming, but yes, I was indeed scheming. So I got there nice and early. Lots of people came, it was amazing, and it was just so nice to see his face. It was also really, really nice to see the other people at the train station who didn't know what was happening but could see that Matt was very loved and very welcomed back, possibly that he might have been in the Olympics, which he wasn't. But to be fair, that's the kind of thing that is worthy of, you know, Olympic love. That it was just such an amazing achievement, not only for his fitness, his commitment, and a brilliant thing for a really worthy cause. So yeah, I think it's fantastic. So we've just heard the news that your dad is on an earlier train. Yes, so he was almost going to miss the surprise, my love, because he's going to be half an hour early. So I've told him he's got to stay on the train. But what message... Good girl. What message have you got to give your dad? Elsie, say something for your dad. Oh, well, that's a lovely message. That's a lovely message, yes. Thank you, Elsie.
Well, I was expecting to come home and find something done to the house, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting to walk out of Temple Meads to those people with banners and all sorts of things, and I was super surprised, a bit kind of emotional, knocking back the tears a little bit. Yeah, it was really, really, really touching, you know, it was really special, really, really special.
Okay, so this is the early crowd, the people who are actually here on time, who may be the only ones who get here on time.
Well done, Matthew. I'm very proud of you. I hope you're not too sad or sore.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Well done, Matt. Hope you're not too sad or sore.
That's what I said.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Copying me. You do it as well, I'm going to.
Well done, Matt. Hope you're not too sad or sore.
Thank you, guys. Have you got a message that you'd like to share from the mental health team?
Oh, Matty has done just so well. We're really, really proud of you, and mine will be blue.
Thank you, Greta. And the banner, lovely. Thank you. Okay, little cub. Have you two got a message for Matthew?
Well done, Matt. We're proud of you. Fantastic job. Brilliant.
What about you, Joel?
Pressure's on.
Same as Dad.
What about you two web ladies?
Yeah, it's thrilled to bits for you, mate. You look well sharp on your bike. Your beer belly's gone. Yeah, huge achievement. Well done. Well done.
You did fantastically. Absolutely brilliant.
And next year you're joining him.
Paris.
Well done, Becky! Hope your bum doesn't hurt too much.
Well, she needs to take a photo, so you
Okay,
hold it and...
so brilliant job, Matt. Yay! Have you got a message for your brother?
Well done, Pruma!
Hold your bike so you can do some hugs.
Yeah.
You love you, Creamy.
Hanging around by the men's toilets. Don't know what's up.
Hello, sis.
Well done.
Something never do it.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
You've done so well, Matt. We're so proud of you, love.
We are.
Yeah.
Have you totted up your sponsor money, Matt?
Well, not totally. I think I've raised over £2,000.
Yay!
Thank you all.
Does that mean we've got to pay you,
it's yours, Steve.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, lovely. Look how light it is. Yeah, it's like anything.
Just say something nice, Ben. We're filming.
Well done, Matthew. Very proud. Very proud of you indeed. Obviously, it's all down to my hard work, training you up.
That's true. Personal trainer.
You know,
Personal trainer.
Yeah, I taught you everything you know. Well done. You made me proud.
Oh, Catherine, please. And what was the hardest part of the journey for you, Matthew?
Well, aside from the grief my wife gave me for having my cyclist haircut before I left, which she didn't like in the slightest, it's day 3 comes trumps that just slightly. So that day 3 was the really hot. It was really hot, 30 degrees. It was the longest day's riding, and my arse started to hurt. And my shoulders were screaming with pain. So that was mentally the toughest day.
And what was the most memorable part of the whole journey for you?
The most memorable part of the journey, I think, was getting off my bike for the first time in Paris with the Eiffel Tower sort of looking straight on in front of me. It was really memorable, a bit kind of emotional, and it just felt a bit, unbelievable really. It was just the feeling, the sense of achievement was just massive.
And your thoughts on the experience as a whole?
You know, there's a lot there really. I think it was mainly I could do it. It's a massive thing, and actually I managed to cycle 280 odd miles to another country, which was madness. The other thing that was really heartwarming was being with a group of all different people all there and really committed, and everyone helping each other out, getting them through those tough moments, whether that's kind of doing A to Z of vegetables or sharing energy bars, all sorts of that sort of sense of togetherness. That was pretty brilliant. But I think overall, just the sheer amount of sponsorship I raised was just mind-blowing, totally mind-blowing, and thank you to everyone who sponsored me. It's really made the hard parts easier, and I think kind of it got me there really. So that was really good, I think, to make a difference, hopefully.
And would you recommend the experience?
Yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone, even if you're not super into cycling or don't feel super fit, you can do it, it doesn't take an awful lot, and yeah, totally recommend it. Really worthwhile doing. Well, you mentioned earlier the punk rocker in me, so I'd quite like to finish off by my top 5 punk rock cycling albums. Number 1, Rancid, Let's Go. Old school, proper good, keep it quick, keep it catchy, keep singing along, keeps you pedalling. Number 2, you cannot forget Suicidal Tendencies. If there's someone who's going to inspire you to pedal and pedal harder, it's Mike Muir. He ain't going to take no shit. You stop pedaling, you do not stop pedaling for Mike Muir. Suicidal Tendencies, number 2. Number 3, The Clash, because they're inspirational, because Joe Strummer was a dude, and because Guns of Brixton, quite frankly, is a superb tune. Probably better for going down hills than going up due to its kind of mellowness, but it's a good one nonetheless. Number 4, Comeback Kid, Wake the Dead. Now, Wake the Dead, the title track, that's a driving, powerful, hardcore song, and you're going to just keep on going with that one. That's an uphill tune. It's one to make you feel good at the end of the day. It's one to make you feel good at breakfast time. Next, it's not punk rock, it's a bit of a curveball, but Bonkers, Dizzy Rascal. Some people think I'm bonkers. Well, I'm sure lots of people thought I was bonkers doing this bike ride, and kind of, I guess you might describe some of the people that mine work with as bonkers in the most polite possible kind of way. But yeah, it's a banging tune. It got you up the hills. Very good, very good.